Chapter 1. The Obsidian Throne. The Great Hall of the Zenthari Dominion was a cavernous expanse of obsidian and bioluminescent veins, pulsing with the faint glow of the hive's collective consciousness. At its center, seated upon a throne of hardened resin and embedded with the skulls of conquered species, was Queen Velis the Eternal. Her chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the dim light, her 6 segmented arms resting against the armrests of her throne. Her crown, a living, writhing mass of neural tendrils, connected her to every drone, warrior, and thinker in her empire. She was the will of the Zenthari, the unyielding force that had led her people to dominate 12 star systems. Yet for all her power she was alone. Her mate, King Zoreth, had fallen in battle against the human fleets a decade ago. His death had left a void in her soul, one that not even the hive mind could fill. The Zenthari did not mourn as humans did. They consumed the memories of the fallen, absorbing their essence into the collective. But Velis had refused. She had kept Zoreth's memories locked away in her own mind, a private shrine to the one being she had ever loved as an individual rather than as part of the swarm. Her chief advisor, High Thinker Crazes, approached with a bow. "My queen, the human prisoners from the last raid have been processed. The weak have been culled. The strong are being prepared for the flesh vats." Velis waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Proceed as usual." But then, something flickered in the hive's shared vision, a disturbance in the lower chambers. Human. Not a warrior. Not a scientist. Cleaner. Chapter 2. The Ghost in the Corridors. The human's name was Elias Carter. He had been captured 6 months ago during a Zenthari raid on a mining colony. Most humans were either executed or assimilated, but Elias had been spared because of his menial role. He was a sanitation worker, deemed too insignificant to waste resources on. The Zenthari had put him to work scrubbing the organic grime from their hive ship's corridors, a task none of the drones cared to do. Elias moved through the ship like a ghost, ignored by all but the lowest of drones. He kept his head down, his hands calloused from scraping away alien filth. He had long since accepted his fate, until she saw him. Queen Velis had descended from her throne, drawn by an inexplicable pull. When she turned the corner and saw Elias kneeling in the hallway, scrubbing at a patch of fungal growth, her entire body locked in place. His face, his eyes. It was him. Not exactly him, of course. This human was smaller, frilier. His skin pale where Zoreth's had been a deep violet. But the shape of his jaw, the way his brow furrowed in concentration, it was uncanny. For the first time in her reign, Queen Velis felt something she had never experienced before. Paralysis. Chapter 3. A Queen's Madness. The hive noticed. Drones paused in their duties, their antennae twitching in confusion. Warriors hesitated, their blades lowering as they sensed their queen's distress. The collective mind rippled with uncertainty. Velis reached out, her claw trembling as she touched Elias's face. The human recoiled, expecting death, but instead the queen caressed him. "Zoreth," she whispered in the Zenthari tongue. Elias didn't understand. He only saw a monstrous alien ruler staring at him with something akin to longing. High Thinker Crazes intervened. "My queen, this is a human. Slave. You dishonor King Zoreth's memory by." Velis's head snapped toward him, her mandibles flaring. "Silence!" The hive shuddered at her fury. She turned back to Elias, her voice softening. "You will come with me." Elias had no choice. Chapter 4. The Prisoner of Memory. Elias was taken to the royal chambers, a place no human had ever seen and lived. The walls pulsed with living tissue, and the air was thick with pheromones that made his head swim. Velis studied him, her compound eyes reflecting his terrified face 1,000 times over. "You are not him," she finally said, her voice heavy with grief. "And yet you are." Elias swallowed hard. "I don't understand." The Queen did something then that shattered all understanding of Zenthari behavior. She spoke to him in broken human tongue. "You look like my mate." Elias's blood ran cold. She wasn't just seeing him. She was seeing a ghost. Chapter 5. The Hive Turns. The Zenthari had no concept of mercy. But Velis's obsession with Elias was causing chaos. Drones whispered. Warriors questioned. The hive mind was fracturing. Krazi saw only one solution. The human must die. That night, as Elias slept in a cocoon of silk-like resin, a place of honor though he didn't know it, assassins came for him. But Velis was waiting. She slaughtered them herself, her claws drenched in the ichor of her own children. "I will not lose him again," she roared. The hive screamed in dissent. Chapter 6. The Fall of a Queen. Revolution came swiftly. The Zenthari turned on their queen. Drones, warriors, even her own royal guard, all saw her as corrupted. Velis fought like a demon, but she was outnumbered. As the hive ship burned around her, she made her way to Elias's chamber. He was cowering in the corner, his eyes wide with terror. She reached for him, not as a queen but as a broken soul. "You were never him," she admitted. "But you, let me remember." Plasma bolts struck her from behind. Velis collapsed, her body convulsing. Elias, against all instinct, caught her. For a single, fleeting moment, the alien queen smiled. Then the hive consumed her. Epilogue: The Last Human. Elias escaped in the chaos, fleeing in a stolen escape pod as the Zenthari ship tore itself apart. No one believed his story. But sometimes, in the quiet of space, he dreamed of a queen who loved a ghost, and wondered if, in another life, he might have loved her too. Final chapter. The Fall of a Queen. The hive ship trembled as rebellion tore through its organic halls. The Zenthari, once bound by the unbreakable will of their queen, now turned against her in a storm of fangs and claws. The scent of ichor filled the air as warriors clashed, their loyalty split between tradition and the queen's heresy. Velis staggered through the collapsing corridors, her exoskeleton cracked, her neural crown flickering with dying impulses. She had fought like a primordial beast, tearing through her own children to reach him, the human who had unraveled her empire. Elias was still in the royal chamber, his back pressed against the pulsating wall, his breaths shallow. When the door split open and Velis lurched inside, he flinched, but then he saw her wounds. The mighty queen, who had once commanded galaxies, was now bleeding from a dozen gashes, her once gleaming carapace dulled by battle. Her voice, when she spoke, was a fractured whisper. "You must go." Elias swallowed hard. "What about you?" She let out a sound that might have been a laugh, if Zenthari could laugh. "I am already dead." A thunderous crash echoed as the chamber doors were breached. Shadows of warriors flooded the entrance, their blades raised. Velis turned, her body trembling, but her stance unyielding. She spread her 6 arms wide, shielding Elias with her own body. "Run!" Elias hesitated, then bolted for a ventilation shaft just as plasma fire erupted behind him. He didn't look back. He couldn't. But he heard her. He heard the queen's final scream, not of pain but of defiance. And then silence. Epilogue: The Ghost and the Stars. The escape pod jettisoned into the void, its engines flaring as it broke free from the dying hive ship. Inside, Elias clutched the controls, his knuckles white. His mind replaying the last moments over and over. She had died for him. Queen. Monster. Mourner. The pod's comms crackled to life. A human distress signal. A patrol ship was approaching. He was saved. But as the stars stretched before him, Elias found himself whispering words he didn't understand, in a language he had never learned. Velis. Zoreth Kesthera. My love endures. The pod drifted toward the rescue ship, carrying the last memory of a queen who had loved a ghost. And somewhere in the vast dark between galaxies, the hive mind shuddered one final time and forgot.